Well, hello and a very warm welcome to your Parenting Wins podcast here on Literal Radio. I'm your host, Iona Chisholm, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Ruth Redgate, the Programme Director of the station. Hello, Ruth, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
It's lovely to have you on because, well, Parenting Wins, what's it all about? I bet you're wondering, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm Programme Director, so I really should know.
You really should know, but if you don't, I'll tell you. I mean, Parenting Wins. Has your baby just slept through the night? Has it eaten its first spoonful of broccoli puree? Or is your child settling down at primary school? Or maybe even they've headed off to high school and they've got their bag packed and remembered their PE kit. Maybe they're at university, they've got up on time for something, or they've done some cooking or done their washing.
Yeah, or got to a lecture, that would be a good thing at uni.
You're with it, aren't you? These are the kind of things that are parenting wins. They're things that we as parents have helped make happen and things that we hear about and think, yes, that's something to celebrate. Yeah. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's about sharing our successes. It's about, supporting each other when there's challenges. And perhaps by sharing our successes, we're helping each other when somebody else thinks, oh, I heard about that parenting win, I'm going to give it a try. Yeah. And so through the Parenting Win podcast, we're going to have parents such as ourselves talking about our parenting experiences, and also occasionally we'll have experts coming along. So it'd be great, won't it, to have people like midwives, opticians. Yep. There's all kinds of people out there with specialisms, and I think as parents, if we can learn from them, perhaps we can become better parents.
And that's what it's all about.
It's what it's all about. And so that's the idea of the podcast. So all parents to be and parents and carers and family, you're all welcome to hear all of our stories, and we're going to be talking about our experiences today, aren't we, Ruth? So perhaps I should introduce myself as a parent and say I've got 4 sons, and they are aged 12, 18, 21 and 24. So how about you, Ruth?
2 children, daughter 22 and son 21.
So similar ages, we're similar ages. We've got children of similar ages that haven't we, in similar experiences. So I think, as we're reminiscing, we've got a few years of parenting under our belt, you could say, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And I've probably forgotten quite a lot of it too, haven't we? But should we cast our minds back? Should we try and remember back to, when we were pregnant and what experiences we had as, when we were pregnant, and what parenting wins we remember, things that worked for us at that time of our lives. Is anything springs to mind for you, Ruth?
I did enjoy I know a lot of people don't actually enjoy being pregnant. I did. I think it was the fact that you could get bigger. And it didn't matter diet-wise. There's a win for us straight away.
Yeah. Go with the cravings.
I never had any, and that really annoyed me.
You see, I definitely did. I definitely had cravings for white chocolate and I know it had to be a craving because my husband offered me every other chocolate that we had in the house, and I ate it all, and I still wanted white chocolate.
I wanted to be one of those wives that wanted a craving in the middle of the night, so I had to boot the husband out of bed, whatever it was. You need to go and get me some cold put on toast with a McDonald's or whatever, but I need it now at 3:00 in the morning. But I had none. It was like,
wow.
Felt a bit of a failure because I didn't have any cravings, and I know I wasn't because it was just a craving. But yeah, I didn't get any. But you get a new wardrobe as well, don't you, when you're pregnant?
I think as well, the wins we're thinking about in a minute are just embracing what being pregnant means. You're on a journey, aren't you? You're going to get bigger. Something incredible is happening. It's an amazing part of your life, isn't it? I remember when I left work to have my first child, my secretary wrote on a card, "Your life is about to change in the most amazing way, and I hope you enjoy every minute." And I write that in cards to people now because it stayed with me. And I think, it's a gift, isn't it? And if you can embrace the experience along the way, because pregnancy isn't always plain sailing, is it?
No, it's
not. That is a win, isn't it? To sort of enjoy the moment, enjoy the process and embrace it for what it is. Yeah. So you didn't have cravings, but did you keep well during your pregnancy?
I did. We'd lost our first child, so when I was 22 weeks pregnant. But no, it's absolutely fine. So I think the next 2 were very, very precious to us. But one of the things I do remember is I was working at Birmingham City Council at the time, and the office I was at the bottom of the hill, and if you needed to go up to the council house, you had to go up the hill. And normally that would be the straight run up the hill. Oh no, when you're pregnant, it's the long tour because you need to know where those toilets are on the way when you are walking somewhere, just in case. So I could have told you every obscure toilet going around Birmingham at the time.
That's a good point, actually. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Make pregnancy a parenting win by finding out where toilets are. And this is what partners can do.
Yeah.
Dads to be. if you know where the toilets are, that's a great win, isn't it? Really helpful.
Because you set off thinking, I've got... Oh, no, I haven't. There's the bladder about to go.
Yep.
Where can I go? I know it's the quickest way that way, but no, I need a detour.
Yeah, zigzag past the toilets. Yeah.
And we count that as getting your steps in now, but it wasn't at the time.
Absolutely, yeah. And did you suffer with morning sickness? Did you have that at all?
No, what I did have was I had low blood pressure. So especially when I was going out of the office to somewhere, I always had to tell them when I'd got to where I'd got to, so they knew nothing had happened because of the low blood pressure. But I never suffered with blood pressure any other time, just low when I was pregnant.
And did that right itself, or was it all the way through your pregnancy?
It would come in fits and waves.
And did you have to take anything for it, or was it just
No,
monitored?
just had to be conscious of it, yeah. And then also, you know, when you go for your blood tests, I remember, I think it was the first one with Caitlin, actually. It's like, oh, we need to call you in we think you might be pre-diabetic. We then eventually worked it out. I'd had sugary cereal before going in from a blood test. So I always tell anybody who's going in for a blood test now, don't have sugary cereal.
Because it might be a red flag and it isn't there.
Yeah.
I did have the pre-diabetes thing and had to have tests. And you go in having fasted, and then you have to drink a large amount of Lucozade.
Yeah.
And they take blood tests at different times to see how your body's processing the sugar. It's something that can happen in pregnancy, isn't it? And we are not pregnancy experts, but I am having a midwife coming in. So in future podcasts, we will be able to get some expert advice on these kind of things.
And that's the last thing you need when you're pregnant with your bladder, is to be told to fast. Then they give you that massive big drink.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, all I want to do is wee.
Yeah. And they do say, I think, you can't wee for a certain amount of time because they want your body to process the sugar. Oh, no. Dear.
And I'm sure that must have been invented by men.
Well, I don't know. But you see, another thing that's challenging is going for the ultrasound scans when you have to have a full bladder.
Yes.
I mean, why is it that all we can remember about pregnancy is needing to go to the toilet? But it's an important part of it, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, dear me.
Yeah.
So how about birth for you? Was that a positive time?
Both were. Caitlin's was a long labour. I was in and out of the bath a long time, quite a few times, and eventually forceps. Bryn, I didn't even make it onto the bed. Literally,
that's what happened to me.
I got there, hands out.
Yeah.
Midwife went, oh, not had one of these for a long time. You've got a boy. And it's like, you what? You've got a boy? It's like, no, we don't have boys in our family. And it was the first boy in our family for God knows how many years. Wow. We wouldn't believe her.
No. And also the birth happened very quickly too.
Yeah. Bang.
Every birth is different. I mean, I've had 4 children, and I genuinely can tell you that when I was in labour each time, I didn't know if the baby was coming or not. And my third child was like a bullet. Yeah, we went to the hospital just in case. We literally arrived. I got on the bed. They asked me could I turn around, and I couldn't. And he was born like that. Wow. And I had no idea. So I think the parenting when we're coming out with a pregnancy and birth is go with the flow.
Definitely.
Try and enjoy it and know how amazing you are for being there. And, you know, it's nature, isn't it? It's one of those things that it's sort of out of your hands.
It is. And I mean, an antenatal classes can prepare you only so far, but they prepare you for the birth. They don't prepare you for every year after that. With the terrible twos, the teenage years. When you look back, the birth in comparison was an absolute breeze.
Nature makes you forget, I think, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, big
because
style.
It's a big day in your life. I think that thin blue line on the pregnancy test is a big day.
Yeah.
The giving birth, particularly for the first time when you first become a parent, is a big day, isn't it? But then any other time, and as you say, you're then in a process, aren't you? A lifelong process.
Yeah.
And we've been parents for a long time, haven't we?
And it's still going on.
Absolutely. Aren't we lucky? It's fantastic. Yeah. So what do you remember then about those early years as a mum when you first started out?
When I had maternity leave, I think, oh gosh, we're talking, it was only 3 months, or was it 6 months? I can't remember now. It is a while ago. I had to go back to work. So the children went to my parents. So I didn't even have the luxury of having the extra time or taking any time off. So it was very, very precious when you picked them up, and the weekends were very precious.
Yeah.
But I also think having that gap away from them, yes, they were very, very young, you noticed changes more.
Yes.
Because you weren't with them 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you suddenly go, oh, is that a smile? and go, oh, it is a smile, it's not wind and things like that. So you do notice the changes more, I think.
And lovely to have the support of your family. They obviously live nearby so that you were able to do that.
Yeah, we were fortunate.
Yeah, so we didn't do that. Our parents weren't nearby. So our children went to various playgroups and I went back to work part-time. And I think it's really interesting, isn't it, to think about, it's a very contentious and personal thing, isn't it, whether people go back to work or not, and whether that's best for the baby or not, and people's financial circumstances. There's so many things, isn't there, that become part of that decision and part of a family setup. But you found that, parenting win for you was having your family and being able to have them have the time with the children, I guess, and build bonds.
Yeah, because otherwise that wouldn't have happened. But it's also, stupid little things when you eventually go back to work full time. Being able to go to the toilet on your own.
A warm cup of tea. Drinking a whole cup of tea before it's gone cold.
Yeah.
In fact, I still don't do that even now, and I think I've sort of used to it. Yeah.
But it's simple pleasures like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know, I saw a quote the other day, which I keep thinking about, and it was, enjoy the little things because you'll look back and remember that they were the big things. Yeah. And I think that's so true with parenting. There's so much that we are gifted with and blessed, but at the time when children are small, it can be quite hard, can't it? When you're at home and you're constantly trying to entertain, trying to toilet train, trying to keep them safe, all that kind of thing. What do you remember about trying to toilet train your children, having a boy and a girl? Was there a big difference with that?
I can't actually remember the toilet training. I think ours was slightly easier because we did, I know it sounds really stupid, but we did reusable nappies. And speaking to other parents around the time who were using the disposable, because you changed them quicker if they were in reusable because of they would be wet and everything like that. They didn't like being wet, so I actually found anybody else I spoke to who was using reusable as well. Toilet training was a lot easier than disposables.
That's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because disposables do keep them dry. Therefore, they don't get the sensation. And actually, that unpleasant sensation is a motivator, isn't it? To actually want to use a toilet. That's really interesting. Yeah. And what kind of reusable ones were there? Were there like the terry nappy with this, the square, or were there those shaped ones? Because shaped ones were being made, weren't they?
Yeah, no, it was still, so it was the terry nappy, but it was almost you put it into a pad that was then inside waterproof. And what was lovely was actually when you wash them and you put them out on the line.
Yes. Yeah.
And simple little pleasures like that, putting them out on the line, having them all on the line, especially in the sunshine, getting bleached and everything.
Yeah. My mum talks about that very fondly, about the line of terry nappies that then became dusters and tea towels. I mean, did you reuse yours?
After the kids were done, and the good thing about them is you could pass them down as well. So they went from Caitlin to Bryn, then became dusters, then became dishcloths until they were little rags and you finally get rid of them. So they would have lasted, probably got 5 years worth out of them. So they are really, really good value and good for the environment.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think now when there must be a lot more available now. Obviously, I'm out of touch with my ages of my children, but we had some shaped disposable nappies that, were almost like a sort of capital T, I suppose.
Yes, I know the ones you mean.
Do you know the ones I mean? And they were coming out. I'm sure it'd be interesting to find out what's available now and recyclable sort of content in disposable nappies. There's more environmentally conscious options, isn't there, with that kind of thing?
I think there should be, but I don't actually think there is. I think it has gone round to... People want the quick fix. They've gone more for the disposable. It's like done, dusted, out the way. Well,
that's really interesting. So if you're listening to this podcast and have an opinion or something to tell us about what you're doing with nappies, please do get in touch. On Instagram at Parenting Wins Podcast. We'd love to hear your views. And it's your parenting podcast. Share us your parenting wins. What's the nappy latest? Because we're a bit behind, aren't we?
We are.
Tell us what's happening. How can people be environmentally conscious if they want to be? What's the best nappy for you and why? I mean, it's really, it's be great information to share, won't it?
Because I know when we got ours, there was grants around, and I don't even know if the grants are still available to encourage people.
To have recyclable nappies, I had no idea. Well, that's interesting. Are you applying for a grant yourself for recyclable nappies? Let us know. It would be really brilliant to know, won't it? And if you've got any connection with, the nappy industry, or you're an expert working with children, get in touch. It'd be lovely to have you as a guest on the show, and you can educate us and inform us and tell us more about what's happening on any aspect of childcare at the minute. We'd be really pleased to hear from you.
But we'd like an update on nappies, Bailey.
We need it, don't we? Let's face it, we're a bit out of touch until the grandparents.
And we don't want that for a while.
So what do you remember about the school years, when your children started school? How was that for you?
That was quite interesting. So the school is literally opposite our house. So when my youngest went, you could hear him in the playground, and we could actually shout at him to tell him to shut up if we wanted to. Caitlin went into school, waved. Did she wave? I can't remember whether she definitely did wave. And it was only a few years ago, she told me when she got into reception, she cried. She didn't want to be there, but she never told me when she came home.
No.
Whereas Bryn, the head teacher, literally had to stop him and go, Bryn, turn around and wave at your mum. And I've got a picture of him with Carol Ely, the head teacher at the time, standing there waving. That was the only wave I got off him because he was ready. He wanted to go.
Really wanted to go. Yeah. It's a very individual thing with children, isn't it? Some really want to go and it's a really positive thing. Other times you feel torn, don't you? We had very positive starting school experiences too, and I think that was very much down to the teachers, the welcome, the fact that, a primary school can be such a nurturing environment, a family, really, an extension of your family, can't it?
It can. I think mine had the advantage because I was also the caretaker over there. So they'd come over with me, so they knew the head teacher. Caitlin was in the head teacher's office virtually every night for the right reasons. I don't think she was ever in there for the wrong reason. I was worried for a minute then, so she didn't have a problem if she ever had to go and speak to any of the teachers. She knew them all. And I think that's what threw me when she told me a few years ago that when she went to school in her own right, she cried. And it's like, but you knew the school, you knew the teachers.
Yeah.
So that threw me. So I think any engagement you can get with them. And I think the difference we also had, it's a very, very small village school. So the classes were very small. And I think that, does it help them? Yes, it does. But when they go up to high school, there is then that
it's more of a shock then.
Massive jump.
Yeah. It's interesting what you're saying about, nurturing and the importance of school. One of the things that we found really lovely about school was the walk to and from school.
Yeah.
And, what you could do when you've got time to actually look at nature. And this ties in with a message that we've had from Fran Davis. So thanks for getting in touch, Fran. Fran spoke to me about how they really enjoyed making time for the walk to school. And it wasn't always possible because she was working, and it's quite difficult, isn't it, sometimes to do this. But she said a parenting win for her in those school years was actually making her children walk to school, stopping, looking at nature. And now they're in their 20s, she can see that she sowed a seed, making that effort of interest in nature, going for walks. And so that became the routine. So it's an opportunity, if you can, isn't it, to connect with your child, even though they're going to school. And sometimes you can feel like you're losing them. It can be a hard time to actually find different ways of connecting, and that can be a lovely time, can't it?
And even if you've got to go to work, get up an extra 10 minutes earlier if you have to. It's not going to hurt you to do it.
If you can, and you can't always, can you? Sometimes you are in the car and you have to, but if you think about the difference of what you can get. I mean, when we were in the car, actually, we used to play the Times Table Challenge from the Early Learning Centre CD, and so you can try and make the car constructive too, but I think nothing beats the outdoors, does it, as a way of of actually enjoying time with your child. And actually it's good for everybody's well-being, isn't it, the outdoors?
It is, especially if they're walking to school like that and they see whether it's a leaf falling from the tree or a squirrel running across, they'll go into school and talk about that, and that helps the teachers as well.
Absolutely. And I think, one of the best gifts you can give a child is curiosity, and being able to look for things and what do they see. We were walking to school once and it was absolutely tipping with rain. And this frog was coming along the path with us. And I can still remember, it's one of the best walks to school we ever had. I mean, how we got there on time, I have no idea, because we did spend a lot of time following this frog about. But, it gives you such an opportunity to talk about such a diversity of things, doesn't it? The weather, the sky, your surroundings, the plants, nature, actually using the senses, I think, stopping and listening and seeing. And, if you can touch plants and things like that, I don't think you can make it more rich, actually, can you?
You can't.
Let's take that as a great parenting win, the school walk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about homework? How was homework for you as a parent?
They didn't get much, but it was interesting. Caitlin realised when she sort of got homework in year 6 that she didn't actually need that much encouragement. She started to do it because she knew when she went to high school, she would have to do it.
Yes.
And Bryn, being a boy, had to get him to knuckle down a bit more.
I was going to say, it's a sign of maturity when a child takes that decision to themselves, isn't it? One of the things that I really rate very highly is a book that I looked at a lot when my children were growing up. It's called Raising Boys by Steve Biddulph, and he's an Australian psychologist. And I found that I really clicked with his idea of parenting. And he was saying, with boys, you don't want to be saying no all the time. So if you say to a child, don't think of a blue monkey. In fact, if you say to anyone, don't think of a blue monkey.
I've thought of a blue monkey.
They think of a blue monkey.
Yeah.
Exactly. So giving a negative command is confusing. Whereas if you give a positive command, so I think one of the examples he gave was if your child is jumping on the sofa, you sort of say, come and stand on the floor. You don't say, don't jump on the sofa. And so I used to try some of his tricks with my boys. So one of the ones was, when they came in from school and dumped all the bags in the hall, the Steve Biddulph approach was you say to your child, oh, your bag's on the floor in the hall. You don't say, pick up your bag, put it away. You just say, oh, your bag's on the floor. And the idea is it gives the child a thought process. Oh, my bag's on the floor. Why she said my bag's on the floor? Oh, maybe my bag shouldn't be on the floor. Oh, maybe I should pick it up. And the idea is it gives the child that thought process. And I think, I found that a very interesting and positive way of parenting. And it did work for quite a while. But then the day comes when you say to your children, your bags are in the hall, and they go, yeah, so? Yeah. And you're like, oh, no, it doesn't work anymore. What can I do next? But, that it's very interesting how children develop. And I think, there've certainly been periods in my children's lives when we've tried to instill what we believe is the right thing in them. And it maybe doesn't come from us, it comes from somebody else giving them the message. And, another thing that I've felt is a useful lesson in parenting is surrounding your children with the people that give the same message that you do, but actually a child's more likely to listen to.
Because you're not the parent.
Yeah. So, for example, it could be the primary school teacher, it could be a cub leader, scout leader, anything like that. But, that a parenting win, I think, as well, is to actually delegate sometimes to people that you trust, that can give the right message. Have you had people like that in your children's lives that have been positive role models?
I think the really good example for most parents is when you go to parents' evening and you hear how well behaved your child is, and they'll do this and they'll do that, and you look at them and go, nah, that's not my child. And the teacher goes, oh yeah, my children are like that at home. They're completely different at school. Yeah. It's when you've done a good thing and without even prompting them that they'll say thank you. You're not having to go, what'd you say? Thank you. Yeah. But they'll do it off their own back and you're thinking, that's the way.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, when I was trying to teach one of our children manners, and I was trying to get him to say please, and I looked at him and went, pa, and he looked up at me and went, potato? No. Okay. Good try.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So thinking about the school years generally, about your children at high school, what do you remember in that time of your parenting life as being positive things?
There was a lot more freedom. So whereas before they literally walked over the road to the school, and it got to the stage they were, even at primary school, they were going to school on their own because they could. They were having to go and stand at the bus stop. Yes, there was a few other children from the village there, but they were standing at the bus stop, getting the bus, as you've said, packing their bags, making their own stuff, but also remembering to get that bus to come home, because by then I was back at work, so I wasn't around to pick them up. So if they didn't get that bus home, they would either have to wait or try and walk the long way home. Yeah. So all of a sudden there was a freedom, and I was going to say they had to grow up, but it was a natural growing up, mixing with different people that they hadn't met before, who weren't at the village, experiencing new sports, new subjects, and finding different things. So Caitlin was friends with some girls who had brothers who did rugby, and they were just starting a girls' rugby team. Caitlin went and played rugby for Tamworth. I never saw that coming. Britain going and playing rugby for Tamworth, didn't bat an eyelid because he's a boy. Yeah. But Caitlin went and played rugby for Tamworth, which wouldn't have happened if she hadn't gone to high school. So it's those different experiences that it gives them, and they're experiences that you wouldn't have thought of doing with them.
Absolutely. And you hope, don't you, as a parent, that you have sown the seeds to give them that confidence to try new things, to let them go. And I think, high school, university, they're big stages where we let them go, and we hope that we've sown the seeds, don't we? Yeah. And that they're going to be okay. Do you know, I feel like we could talk for so much more, but we've almost come to the end of our time for today,
no,
sadly.
wow.
I can't believe it. Please, will you come back and talk to me about parenting some more?
I will do, indeed. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. But before we finish, there's a quick thing I needed to ask you, because I asked you if you'd bring in an object today, didn't I, to do with parenting?
You did.
Have you brought an object in, Ruth, and what is it?
I haven't, but I have it with me, if that makes sense.
It does. Go ahead and tell us what you
mean.
mean.
Well, more for the camera. It's that magic kiss that every parent gives a child when they've fallen over and grazed their knee. It's amazing. Just a simple magic kiss makes them feel a whole lot better.
Isn't love the best parenting and the best thing you can give your child? That's wonderful. Thank you, Ruth. I have also brought something in. I've brought in a picture of my parents. Here it is.
Okay.
And I'm going to show it to the camera now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to my parents, because I think since I've become a parent, I've understood how lucky I have been to have them as my parents. And I understand, how difficult it is being a parent.
Yeah.
So I think when you have your own children, you do see and appreciate your parents in a new way. And I'd like to just say thank you to my mum for being my role model for being a mum, for all the things you've taught me, mum, for the crocheting, the baking, the cooking, the dancing in the lounge. There's so much. And thank you to my dad for teaching me the importance of always being curious and developing my knowledge and always learning. My dad always used to say to me that whatever you learn, whatever qualifications you get, no one can take them away from you. And
I like that.
I do. And I've tried to teach my children the importance of learning too. And also, Dad, thank you for teaching me gardening and introducing me to gardening, which of course is something that's very dear to me. So thank you so much to Mum and Dad. I know that I'm truly loved and I feel very fortunate. And so I hope that you listening also can take a moment just to feel blessed for the parents that you've had and maybe still have, and say thank you if you can. So I like to end Parenting Wins podcast with some quotes, because I do think we live in a really busy world, and it's just, sometimes it's very hard. But if we have a few words that can either inform us, support us, make us laugh, whatever. So here's a few quotes that I'd like to end with today. They're both anonymous quotes, unfortunately, so I can't tell you who said them, but I do like them. Here's the first. My friend asked me recently what the most difficult part of being a parent is. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the kids, I replied. Can't we all relate to that some days? And then this one I think is a great one too. It's parenthood is 60% feeding, 30% worrying, 20% nappy changing, and 70% being so tired you can't even do simple maths anymore. And let's face it, we all know how days like that feel. So that brings us to the end of today's parenting podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It's lovely to have your company. Remember, we love to hear from you, so please do get in touch on Instagram at Parenting Wins Podcast. And I look forward to sharing your tips and your celebrations too, because we all know parenting is quite a roller coaster ride, but it's so much better if we buckle in and we ride the roller coaster and support and celebrate with each other. So this is your host, Iona Chisholm, saying goodbye.